be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry, okay? Bring you a book, bring you an iPad, or whatever it is that you need to keep your attention and be ready to spend some time. Hey, Cornell Jermaine here, back with another great episode. Listen, I want to thank you for joining me once again here on YouTube. Subscribers, you're so precious to me. I thank you so much for viewing, commenting, sharing, just liking and listening to what it is that I have to say. Today, I want to talk to anybody really who is interested in the TV film industry. I'm specifically going to speak to a certain department in the industry, but this is for anyone, whether you're wanting to be a producer, director, or anybody behind the scenes in the film or television industry. I've been fortunate to work as a producer, director, but my mainstay has been that of the Department of Vanities, which is where we cover hair, makeup, wardrobe, and things of that nature. So I've been blessed to work in vast amount of positions in the field, but I want to speak specifically to my hairstylist because I have 25 plus years in the industry and I know so many stylists, but you don't know how and you don't really know what it takes. This is why I'm here, and I'm here to share with you what it really takes to be successful as a hairdresser in the television and film industry. So these are my 5 tips. 5 tips for Hollywood hair, your essentials for being a successful hairstylist in the television and film industry. So tip number 1, the first tip that I think is necessary, and I think it's just a given, but sometimes people take it for granted. So I want to make sure that you're aware, and that is tools. You have to have your tools in order to be successful in the business. Listen, a cook cannot go to the kitchen and plan to make a meal if they don't have a pan, a spatula, a fork, a mixer, or whatever it is that they need to do the specific job they're doing. Now, imagine trying to bake a cake and you don't have a spoon, a spatula, a mixer, and you're trying to mix the flour and the eggs and the butter. You're trying to cream that butter and sugar for your pound cake. If you're trying to cream that butter and sugar for that beautiful cake, you can't do that with your hand. I know there's a lot of things we can do with our hands. In old school, yeah, just mix it with your hand. You can't cream that butter and sugar with your hand. So you're gonna need a tool. You're gonna need utensils. This is so true, especially for you if you're gonna do hair, even makeup in the film and television industry. You're gonna need tools. And when I say tools, I mean you need all the tools. Everything that you think you might need or that you think you don't need, you need. You know what I'm saying? And the reason is because as a person in this particular side of the business, you have to be ready for whatever. So I have, and all the people that I know that have spent any length of time in the business have so many options when it comes to tools and equipment that they can use that they really, if they had a rummage sale, they would probably have a department store full of supplies because that's just what it takes. And sometimes you accumulate a lot of stuff because over the years you go get things and you buy this, buy that, and you end up with 2 of this, 2 of that, 3 of this, 3 of that. And sometimes that can seem like excess, but really it's not excess. It's really necessary sometimes because if the one goes out, you have to be ready to run with the next one. You get what I'm saying? So you want to have the tools you need, and even with the tools, you want to have the backup tools. So if you got that one pair of good flat irons that you like to use, and that's the only pair you got, go buy another one because you're gonna need a spare. Because if you're on set and you're in the middle of production and your flat iron goes out, you better have a spare flat iron somewhere so that you can complete that job. Or you better know how to use another tool. Say for instance, you have a curling iron. You better know how to use that curling iron to get the same effect of that flat iron. You get what I'm saying? So you got to have your tools. And honestly speaking, it's to your advantage. It's to your advantage to have the tools you need because first of all, it takes the stress out of things. You know what I mean? So you don't have to worry because I've been there. This is why I can speak to it. I'm not trying to act like I know it all. I've been there when I've had a blow dryer went out in the midstream of me blowing a piece of hair dry. And I had to get this client ready and I had to call an assistant or get somebody to run grab a blow dryer because the one I had went out and it was beyond repair. You get what I'm saying? I learned that the hard way. So now I know I have 2 blow dryers, 3 even, and they are ready and accessible just in case. So that's what I mean when it comes to the tools. You have to have what you need, an excess amount of it. And sometimes that's an extra, just a spare. Sometimes that's 2 spares. It depends on you and the volume of work that you do. But whatever the case, have all the equipment and extra for what it is that you're needing to do on that set. Tools. Get your tools. And I say that now because for those who are interested in getting into the business, I want you to be aware you may not have a project at your disposal. You may not have anybody that's knocking on your door, ringing your phone, trying to get you to come work with them on a production, but you want to get there. So right now is the time to prepare. Right now is the time to gather your equipment and buy a little extra. If you have a piece of tool that you like, buy an extra one, especially if you know that sometimes the businesses go out of business and they discontinue some things. Buy an extra one so that you have a kit that's ready to go whenever you get the call to come to production set. So tools are the first thing that you need. The next thing that you're gonna need is team. When I say, we've heard the phrase so many times, teamwork makes the dream work, and sometimes it's cliche, and sometimes we think of it as, oh, that's just some people say. In the television and film industry on set, it is especially necessary to have teamwork. And I say that because many artists, hairstylists, makeup artists, you're used to working alone. You're used to being able to look at your canvas called your client and do whatever it is you feel, you know what I mean? And the only person maybe you have to answer to is that client. And if they are open to it, you can just do whatever you want and be okay with it. When it comes to working on a film or television set, that's not the case. You have to be open to the team. We talked about in a previous video the 3 elements of any transaction, and that is the business, the product, and the customer. When it comes to working in television and film, you are the business because you show up with your skill set to do your job. Your talent, the person that you're working on, the actor, actress, is your product. You have to produce them in order to have an effective shoot that day. But your customer is that director. That director has a vision. That director was hired by a studio to produce this feature film. And they then have this team, we're talking about teamwork, that works around them to help them produce this film. And if that director has a vision of what they want that talent to look like, you better be able to produce it. And you may have to take, not may, you will have to take instruction from them and all the chain of commands, because keep in mind, you may be on a film set and that director may not even ever speak to you. You never even talk to him. Sometimes you may get into some environments and they're a little more open and have time to engage, but most times, I'm talking about when you're on a blockbuster feature film, you don't really have a lot of hand interaction and engagement with the director. So you have that director who has producers under them, and that producer will then have supervisors. You know what I mean? So most times when you're on set, you have a supervisor that is over you unless you are the supervisor or department head. So sometimes, and I've been fortunate to be hired as a department head as well, sometimes you're hired as the department head, which means you're the first chain of command for your department. You get what I'm saying? So you understand why teamwork makes the dream work, because you have to answer to all these people. You have to add that director, your supervisor or department head has to answer to the producer, that producer has to answer to the director, and that director has to answer to the studios. Everybody is working together to produce a film that the customer or viewers will like. That is it. But if everybody is not on the same page, so if that director has a vision and that producer relays that vision to the department head and that department head shares it with their team and that team can't produce, now we have to find people that can. We're the worker bees that produce the vision that this director has. You get what I'm saying? And that producer is the liaison between the two, making sure that the message of the director is communicated to that department effectively and they understand what it is that they need to get done. You get what I'm saying? So you have all these people, all these individuals that you have to work hand in hand with to produce this one 90-minute, 180-minute feature film. If you're not ready or you're not the kind of creative that is willing to work in a team environment, which means you're gonna have to take instruction, which means people are gonna tell you what to do, which means people are gonna tell you how much time you got to do it, which is gonna bring me to my next point. You are not ready to work in this space. So you have your tools, you have team. The third tip I would say is time, T-I-M-E. If you've ever been on a production set, you know that it is a matter, most times it's a matter of hurry up and wait. Sometimes you have to report, and most things I have to report early in the morning. So we're in the trailer, getting ready to shoot an amazing project. Can't wait to share more with you guys, but it's awesome. It is an early morning. If you can tell by my eyes, I am sleepy, but I'm here and ready to get the job done. So it could be a 4 a.m. I've had to be on set at 3 in the morning. I've had to be on set at 5 in the morning. And when I talk about getting up and being on set at those times, it's not, oh, we're gonna be here from 3 to, some of y'all used to those shifts. Oh, I'm on the day shift. I don't work 5 to 1, or I work 6 to 2. When I say time, I mean whatever time it takes us to get it done is what time it's gonna take for us to get it done. And that's what everybody's perspective is when you go into the film. Now, you'll get paid for your time, you know what I mean? But it's gonna take time. You know what I'm saying? So if you have to report at 4 a.m., don't expect to be gone by noon. Even if they told you that. Even if they told you that your schedule is from 4 to noon, just be open to the fact that you might have to stay over, because it happens. It happens. Now, if you stay over, then you'll get paid for staying over. You know what I'm saying? So if you work 12 hours, you're gonna get paid for working 12 hours. If you work 16 hours, you're gonna get paid for working 16 hours. If you work 18 hours, you're gonna get paid. And some of y'all looking like 18 hours. Yes, 18 hours. I have spent 18 hours on a set before and had to get up and be back the next day for another 12, 14, 16 hours. So if you're one that does not like to spend time in a creative, productive, sometimes chill and laid back environment, then you're not ready for the business, because it's gonna take time. And that's true not only just on the television film side of the business, but also in theatrical, which is where I also work. I also work in the theatrical. So we're talking about Broadway musicals. It takes time. So be ready to spend some time to get the project done, because once your job is done, granted, it might take you maybe an hour and a half to get your job done. There are 5, 6 other departments that have to get their job done. And then together we come together to make sure that we get the shot. And all of that takes time. And to be quite honest, the set is gonna run like you ain't got a lot of time. And I say that because you're gonna get a lot of hurry up. Oh, how much time? How much longer you got? The talent just walked into the trailer. You gotta produce this look, and the producer is hollering at you like you only got 6 minutes. So the energy in the environment is, oh, we ain't got a lot of time. We ain't gonna be here long. But yet and still, it's gonna take you time. And you have to be open not only to spending as little time as you need to get the job done, but also spending as much time as required to make sure that the overall production is produced effectively. So I said all that to say is, don't be in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry, okay? Bring you a book, bring you an iPad, or whatever it is that you need to keep your attention, and be ready to spend some time, because it's gonna take time to get everything done in order to produce that film. So the next one, so we have tools, we have team, we have time, now we have tenacity. It's gonna take tenacity. So the definition of tenacity is not readily relinquishing a position, course of action, determined. Not readily relinquishing a position or course of action, determined. You're gonna have to be tenacious in the business of television and film. And the reason why I say that is every day is gonna be different. The people are gonna be different. You're gonna work on one production and you're gonna love everybody and everybody's gonna get along, and you're gonna go to another production and you're gonna be like, what in the world? You have to be tenacious. And if you don't have that type of grit in you, this business will chew you up in a matter of seconds. So you have to know what you want. And if working in the business of television and film is what you want, then you're gonna have to be tenacious about getting in there and finding your footings and remaining. You're gonna have to be tenacious about it. So understand that every project is different, every director is different, every trailer is different, every team is different. If you're okay with working with various personalities and you understand the focus and the job that you have to get done, you'll be okay in any environment that you're asked or invited to be a part of. You'll be okay. So tools, you gotta have your tools. Team, you gotta be a team player. Time, you gotta be ready to take the time to get it done. And you gotta be tenacious. You gotta have tenacity. The next one, now some people would think this is a given, but I wanna highlight it because I gotta make sure that my newbies and some people who may not be familiar, but the next tip is talent. You gotta have talent, y'all. And this is why I often feel, and it's not always the case, because some people are fast learners and they absorb really quickly,
But I often feel like it's better for a stylist to work in a salon or an environment where you've built a clientele, you've worked with different kinds of people, whether that's celebrity clients or whether that's just a clientele in your community, and you've built a business and you've had the experience of being able to ebb and flow in your own thing and develop a skill set and develop an awareness of where your gifting lies. Because when you get into this film and television side of business, you're gonna have to be aware of your talent and skill sets. You're gonna have to know what you're good at and what you're capable of. Because when they call you, that producer calls you to come to the job, they're expecting you to be an expert at what it is that you do. It don't matter if you've never done it before. This could be your first opportunity, but they're expecting you to be an expert at what it is that you do. They're not gonna babysit you. They're not gonna micromanage you and say, hey, do it like this, do it. They're not doing that. They're gonna give you a call sheet. They're gonna give you maybe some sides. They're gonna give you maybe a script, and you gotta come together and be able to take this vision, what it is that character is supposed to be, and bring it to life. So you're gonna have to have vision, and you're gonna also have to know where your gifting lies. And if you haven't spent time in the business working through that, trying different things, working with different hair types, working with different clients, working with different skin types, you may be a little unaware of where your true talent lies. And for that reason, you don't know what position you play. So you come to this film set and you think it's just about, oh, I just need to comb some hair. And they put something on you that you like, I don't know how to do this. And if you don't produce it, because mind you, we talked about it, that producer's gonna be like, you got 7 minutes to get it done. And if you don't know how to get it done in 7 minutes, you not only are gonna make that team look bad, but you won't be in the business very long. Trust me. So understand where your gifting lies as an artist, where your talent is. You don't have to be versed in everything, but you should. It's nice too. So you got some people, I don't do extensions, I don't do wigs, I don't do weaves, I only do this, I only do color, I don't do. That's good, and that has a place. And if packaged and marketed properly, it could be a thing. But if you're gonna work in different environments and on different projects with different talent and different directors and different producers and different storylines, knowing how to ebb and flow and work every aspect of your business would be to your advantage. It would be to your advantage. But if you specialize, and this is what I do, and this is all I do, that's just as good, because now when you get the call, you can say, oh, that's out of my wheelhouse. Oh, I don't do that. You get what I'm saying? Going in so that you don't waste their time or your own. So understanding your talent. So what do we have? Your tools, you have your team, you have time, you have tenacity, you have talent. And now I'm gonna throw a bonus one in because I just think it's important to highlight. You must take care. What do I mean? Take care has to do with make sure of doing something, make sure of getting something done. When it comes to working in this space, you must take care. And that comes with the word that you're gonna hear a lot if you're gonna be in this side of the business, and that's called continuity. Continuity, which is the idea of making sure that today looks just like tomorrow, and tomorrow looks just like yesterday. And what do I mean? If that ponytail was smooth with a low swoop to the left and a ponytail to the right, tomorrow that ponytail better be smooth with a swoop to the left and a low ponytail to the right. You can't forget where you placed that ponytail, how low it was, how high it was. You can't forget how deep or low that swoop was. You gotta have continuity, which in our world evolves completely around photos. I have photos in my phone right now from talent that I've worked with on projects years ago, because in continuity, you have to report that. So you have to take pictures of what it is that you've produced, and production reports that to the directors and all the players involved, because at the end of the day, if you're gone and something happens to you, or you just can't work the job anymore, or they go to another city and they have to hire a new talent to produce, they have to be able to show that talent. This is what this character looked like when we shot last month or 2 months ago. This is what you need to produce. You get what I'm saying? It's all about continuity. So you have to be open to doing it again. We talked about that in another episode as well, where we talked about doing it again. So it may be a lot of repetition for some people, and for some of my creatives who like to just flow with it, you have sometimes opportunities when you can just flow with it, but most times if you're not the designer of the show, you can't just flow with it. You're gonna have to take some direction, and particularly that of continuity, if if the production is already underway. But if you're a part of that team that is the first to touch the talent and to create the look, then you're gonna set the standard, and then those who follow after you will have to measure up. Continuity, so taking care, which means you're gonna have to pay attention, which means you're gonna have to be detailed, which means you're gonna have to be very intentional with how you approach your talent and the effort that you put in and what it is that you produce on that film set in that trailer. These are my tips, my 5 tips and a bonus. Look, y'all wasn't expecting that bonus, but I'm happy to share. I hope this helps my up-and-coming artists, my up-and-coming cosmetologists that want to get their feet wet and find their footings in the TV and film industry, or in Hollywood, if you will. I think this is a good place to start. If you understand your skill set and your talent, work on proving your talent so that you know what you have to offer when you show up to these productions. And I guarantee you, when you know what you got to offer and you can come in confidently and produce, there'll be no stopping you. There'll be no stopping you, because the one time you work with that production and they know, oh, this one gets the job done, and if you're pleasant to work with on top of it, it makes it even better. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you ain't even got to be pleasant, but I suggest you do, because that's just what the environment I like to work in and what I like to see from people. So be pleasant to work with, but know what you have to offer. Be confident in that. You show up to the set, produce well, consistently, there'll be no stopping you. They'll be calling you, your name will get out, and people will want to work with you over and over again. So be conscious of everything that I'm telling you today. Your tools, your time, your teamwork, the talent, your tenacity, and your ability to take care. And I guarantee you will be a success in the Hollywood industry as a hairstylist. So I hope this helps you all. Listen, share this with somebody who needs to hear it, somebody who wants or has ambition to be in this particular field. Share it with them so that they can get insights from a professional who's actually in it and doing it. Listen, I'm trying to help. I want to serve, and I hope this helps and serves you well in your future endeavors. Like, share, and subscribe the video. And until next time, take care, and I will see you real soon. This is Cornell Jermaine signing off.